Hey, what's up? What's up? Joe in Vegas back with another review. Sir Paul McCartney. Mr. Paul McCartney. The great Paul McCartney. Arguably one of the greatest musical artists of all time. I think so. I'd put him one or two or three. Maybe one. I think I'd put him one. Paul came to town. And shame on me, and I kind of said this in my last review, I kind of sometimes let the internet get to me, and I kind of been hearing, I saw a performance recently, and I said, I don't know, he's kind of losing it. He's old, he's 83. Tickets were so expensive when they went on sale. It was like $600 a ticket for where I wanted to sit, which is not crazy. I'm not front row. I'm just lower level. And you start doing the math, the concert math, which is becoming a real fucking thing now. 600, 2 tickets, 1,200, parking 50, drinks 30, food 60 for 2 people. It starts adding up. You're talking about a $1,200-$1,300 night. Look, if you never go out that often and you've never seen Paul McCartney, $1,200 is a lot of money to spend on one night, but you're allowed to treat yourself. That's fine. Even if you put yourself in debt, life is life. You got to live it. But I go to a lot of shows. And you start doing, and I've seen Paul 3, 4, 5 times. And when the tickets went on sale, I just said, you know what? I'm just going to wait till last minute because it's so much money. And there was a moment, shame on me, that I said, I'm not going to go. I remember that. I remember thinking, it's too much. I'll go see someone else I haven't seen before. Anyway, I waited. A couple days before, a week before, I noticed tickets started dramatically dropping. So again, I think a lot of this shit comes down to these ticket bots, or I don't know who's doing it, but people are buying tickets to flip them. Maybe, the economy went kind of down a little bit since they bought their tickets and they couldn't afford the trip to Vegas. I don't know. I ended up getting seats in section 135 and I paid all in for 2 tickets, $510. Grabbed them, very happy with the seats. Very happy I did it. And the second he sang his first note, again, shame on me for even thinking I wasn't going to go. I remember the last time I saw him was probably 5-6 years ago. It was probably right before COVID, I think. And I remember sitting in the crowd, chills, tears in my eyes, thinking, man, this is the last time I'm going to see Paul McCartney sing Hey Jude or sing Blackbird, and it's so like it runs through your head. It's like you talk about a band who has a soundtrack to your life. I don't think for me there's a band greater than the Beatles. I don't think there's a man bigger than Paul McCartney that has been a soundtrack to my life. There have been a couple other bands, but because of the greatness of the Beatles was they were more than a genre. They had everything. They had the ballads, they had the rock songs, they had the pop songs, they had the quirky songs. They had, like I always said, the Ringo songs, the Yellow Submarines, to me they were kid songs. They sounded like kid songs. Octopus's Garden, it sounds like something you would sing in a nursery. We all live in a yellow submarine. It's like kids, but it was fine because I was 5. It's okay. When you're a kid walking around singing Yellow Submarine, there's a place for that. And then you get older and you get into the more, you realize the brilliance of what they were doing, and the Eleanor Rigby's and the everything. They had everything. And it when you have a life that's all over the place over the course, for me, 50 years, 49 years, there was a Beatles song for every mood I was in. They are the soundtrack of my life. And the memories I have as a child and the memories I have as an adult, even a couple of years ago, sitting down and watching that Disney documentary with this awe, like all over again, I am falling in love with the Beatles. Not that I ever fell out of love with the Beatles, but I'm sure if you're listening to this, you saw that Beatles documentary. If you haven't, go see it and go watch all the other Beatles ones. But the one on Disney, I think it's called Get Back. I think it's Get Back. Maybe I'm not. I don't remember what it's called. It's the one on Disney. It's like 6 hours. I mean, there's that one scene. There's a lot of scenes, but there was that one scene where he's just sitting with the guitar and Get Back just comes out of nowhere. Just dunga 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 dunga, and you watch one of the greatest songs of all time being created before your eyes, documented on. I don't know how they have that quality of video back then. There's so many moments like that you're just like, you just like become in awe of the Beatles. And it happens to me once a year where you're reminded of the Beatles for whatever reason, and you just start digging into documentaries and YouTube clips and rare videos and this and that, and you just become so enamored of them, and the vein in all of this and the lesson in all this. These songs are over 60 years old, and they're still so good. They've never gotten old. I've heard pick any Beatles song. I've heard it 1,000 to more than 1,000, 5,000 times over the last 50 years. And they're just as good, and that was my experience last night. Again, I couldn't help myself. You're sitting in the crowd thinking, oh my God, I'm watching Paul McCartney sing Hey Jude in person for probably the last time ever. He is old. I don't know, he keeps defying the odds. Each time I see him, he's definitely slower. This show, I'm going to get into this show now. I know I've talked a lot already. I remember seeing him as a kid, and his interaction between the songs was incredible. His energy is incredible. He's still putting on 2.5, 3-hour shows. So let's give the good stuff. And it's all good stuff. But that's incredible at his age. That's incredible for someone who's 25 to do that. I remember as a child, and the multiple times I've seen him, his personality really came through in the charmingness, the kookiness, the dancing on the piano stuff, the stories. That part, I think, has dwindled. Not that he's not the same. I just don't think he has it in him to do it. And it's okay, Paul. You're 83 years old, or however old you are, something like, I think it's 83. It's fine. I wasn't expecting that. I knew going in it wasn't going to be that. But everything else about him, he looks fantastic. He sounds great. Some notes missed here and there, but it didn't matter because there was other stuff that he killed. And at the end of the day, the music is the driving force, and it's so good. And he does a good job. He plays 35 songs and does a very nice job. I would personally have loved to heard more Beatles stuff. I'm surprised he didn't do a couple songs. But it's the beauty of the Beatles is the four of them came together. I don't think people realize how short. I think they were together 9 years total. And what the amount of music and the amount of hits and the amazingness that they did in 9 years that changed the world is astonishing. But what's the most astonishing is all four of them went off and had incredible solo careers. So as much as Paul McCartney is a Beatle, it doesn't define his career at all. Wings was massive. His solo career, he's done some stuff that was very big and very influential. So he does a good job with the set list. I'm going to go through it now and shut the fuck up. He does a good job spreading out his career and obviously leaning heavy towards Beatles songs. So let's see. He opens up with Help. So good. What a song to open up with. And he does Coming Up, Got to Get You Into My Life, Drive My Car, which I haven't heard that in a while, Letting Go, Come On To Me, Let Me Roll It, Getting Better, Let 'Em In, My Valentine, 1985, Maybe I'm Amazed, which that was the one I was waiting for to hear how his voice sounded. And at the beginning of the song, it was okay, but it got better. I think his voice got stronger, which most artists do throughout the show. But, man, Maybe I'm Amazed. Is that not 100% Paul McCartney? Like, through core, to your core Paul McCartney. Maybe I'm Amazed is amazing. I've Just Seen a Face, In Spite of All the Danger, which was their old Quarrymen song, which Quarrymen, if you don't know, were the band before the Beatles, where the Beatles originated out of. Love Me Do, Dance Tonight, Blackbird, which, again, also so signature Paul, so beautiful, so, amazing. Here Today, Now and Then, which was that newer song that they finished up. I think they used AI to finish it. Lady Madonna, Jet. One thing I want to Jet by the Wings. One thing before I get into the rest of this, the only, I think, criticism I had of the show was I didn't like the stage setup. And I've been struggling in my brain, but unfortunately with all the alcohol and millions of shows, it's drifting. I'm trying to think if he always did that. I don't remember it. He's very embedded in the band. Like because of the pyrotechnics for Live and Let Die, they're set back a little bit, which I don't like. There's like a good area that he can come even closer to the crowd, but he's set back, which is fine. And then he has one piano down on that lower level, and then he's got another little piano up in the top right back part of the stage. And the way their stage is set, it's set back, and then there's two big screens, and I didn't like it when he went to that back piano. You could barely, at least where I was sitting, you can barely see him. he was just, I know he's a music guy, and he probably loves just being embedded in the band on a little tiny piano, but you're Paul McCartney, you're the star. You should be like Billy Joel with a piano in the front center that spins around. But hey, he's fucking Paul McCartney. He can do whatever the hell he wants. But that was my only benefit when like I wasn't able to get good video or pictures of like Let It Be because he was back there like tucked away in the corner. But again, that's not a complaint. It's just I don't like the way his stage is set up. There's no like, and again, he's older. He can't do it. Like the only guy his age that can still do it like that is Mick Jagger. They had, usually when you play a stadium, and I hate fucking stadiums because you're so far. Even with good seats, I had what was considered good seats. You can still barely see the guy. It's just I don't like stadiums, but he has to play stadiums because he's Paul McCartney. But a lot of stadium acts will have a second stage in the middle of the stadium with a long runway that they can either run down or walk down. Or if there's no long runway, there's still a second stage that they go through the crowd with security at some point and pop up on the second stage, just so the people in the back can get a little closer. He didn't have any of that, so he was really tucked into the band. Again, not a bad thing, but not a great thing either. Where were we? Jet by the Wings. Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite. Love that song. That song reminds me so much of the Cirque du Soleil Love Show. I don't know why. It just does. Then Something, which he did as an ode to George. I didn't like the way he started. Something is probably one of my favorite Beatles songs. Definitely top 3. And he did the first minute or so on a ukulele, which I didn't love. I wanted to hear, and again, it's George's song. But I wanted to hear, something the way it is. And the first minute or so was with a uke, and then he switched to the guitars and the electric guitars, and that was fine. I'm okay with that. But I wish he would have done it just the way it was written. But it's fine. He played it. I didn't think he would play that. Obla Di Obla Da, what a song. Then he did Band on the Run by the Wings, also a hell of a song. Get Back, which is classic Beatles. Then he went to that back piano. He did Let It Be, which I don't know. I mean, it's like I don't know if it gets better than that. And then there's a whole bunch of other like songs that are I can't. You cannot put words on songs like Let It Be and Hey Jude and so you just can't. These are much larger than life. These are cultural songs. These are things that God, if you believe in Him, put it right into these guys and gave it to the world through these messengers of music. Then he did Live and Let Die, which he had a bunch of pyrotechnics, which is probably one of the best pyrotechnic songs. Whether he plays it or Guns N' Roses play it, it's such a great live song because it's one of those songs that just go ballistic. It just goes ballistic. And with the right pyros and lasers, it's just fun. Then he closed out the set with Hey Jude, which I don't think you're going to get a better sing-along, emotional, go back memory lane, relive your life. He extends that song to 6 or 7 minutes in the show just so everybody can sing along. You have the men singing it at one point, the women singing it. It's just everything that music should be. And I don't know what's going to happen to this next generation. I don't know. There was nobody at that show under. No, that's not. They were sprinkled, but most of that show was over 40 years old. I don't know what's going to happen when Paul stops playing. I mean, I know Beyonce did a cover of Blackbird this year, which was great, and I think she played it at the show that I went to. So there are going to be people, I think, keeping this music alive forever, but it's so sacred. How does a new artist cover Hey Jude? It's such a sacred piece of religion or whatever you want to call it, music, that it would be very daunting for people to just start covering Beatles. It's very weird. Very, very interesting times. We'll see what happens. Then he came out for the encore. He did I Got a Feeling. He did a very short version of Sgt. Pepper's, Helter Skelter, which I love. And then these 3 songs, he always closed with them. I remember that, and I love it. It's just, these are not, they're great Beatles songs, but they're not songs that like pop into your head. Like you would think he would close with Get Back, and he would close with Let It Be, and he would close, but he always closes with Golden Slumbers. It's so sweet. And then Carry That Weight, which is such an underrated song. Oh, I love that song. And then finishes it all off with The End. 35 songs, 2.5+ hours later. Paul McCartney is a fucking god. He's just a god, and we are so lucky that he is here. Go see him. Scale of 1 to 10. It helps that I got good seats, good affordable seats. So my advice to you, because the seats were really dropping by the last day, I mean, you could have sat up top in the 400 sections for $20. Lower levels were going for 100 the day of the show, which is like, face was $500-600. So scale of 1 to 10, it's a 9.8 all day long. I hope to God it's not the last time I see Paul McCartney. I really do. I mean, you look at him, he's going strong. He did not look tired. He did not look weak. He did not look frail. He doesn't have to be playing that long. So if he's got to scale it down to a 2-hour show and play for another 5-10 years, then I'll take it. We'll take it, Paul. Thank you, Paul McCartney, if you ever listen to this, for the music, the memories, the soundtrack of my life. It really is. God bless the Beatles. I'm telling you, it's thank God music doesn't expire. It's the beautiful thing of art. Music, movies, paintings, whatever. It doesn't expire. We have it forever. Once they record it and put it out in the world, we have it forever, and thank God. Thank you for listening. Go see this show if you can. Leave some comments, subscribe, and I will see you at the next show. Bye-bye.